Hello guys, Omni here. I wanted to give you guys a quick little game review since I just finished streaming through all of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to download any of the footage, so this is just going to be me talking about the game. Now, you can watch me play through the whole thing because those videos are archived on my Twitch channel, there's always a link to that in the description of my videos. And I will warn you, if you've never watched me play a game live, unlike with the power of editing that I have before I put these videos on YouTube, when I'm live, if a game is getting me frustrated, I have a tendency to have the mouth of a sailor. So if you're sensitive to that, there's your warning. But that's always an option. That aside, going into this game, there's always a little bit of a level of apprehension because the publisher, of course, is EA, and their track record and their plethora of controversy here in the past couple years. So it was a little expected to be a little guarded going into this, given I had some hopeful optimism because the developer, the people creating the game, was Respawn Entertainment. They've been one of the few studios that's really kind of been able to kind of stand up to the corporate end of EA and really kind of hold their ground and keep some creative control in what they're making compared to some of the other studios. And it shows. This is a fantastic game. It's not without its faults. It doesn't really do a whole lot new as far as Star Wars narrative. The Star Wars story that it tells is a really great Star Wars story, but it's also really a bit of familiar things as far as the story beats, the type of character that we're following on. The main character here is Cal Kestis, a surviving Padawan from Order 66. So this takes place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. The time when the Jedi are being hunted. And of course, we pick up this character is in hiding, and events ensue that force him to reveal himself. And that kind of kicks off the game. And our main character is motion captured, played, and voiced by Cameron Monaghan. You might know him from Shameless, or maybe better so, at least in my circles, would probably know him better as Jerome and Jeremiah, the Joker in the TV series Gotham. We also have Deborah Wilson, who is his mentor throughout this game. And there's a whole cast of characters you get throughout the game. And this game is great. And unlike where you might kind of draw a comparison to this because it's a swinging lightsaber Force game, you might think, is this anything like Force Unleashed? No, this is definitely a different kind of beast because in this, you are just a half-trained Padawan. You never finished your training before Order 66 went off. And you even got some PTSD from that event, which keeps you locked off from some of your memories, some of your previous acquired Force abilities. So throughout the game, you're unlocking things, new abilities throughout the game. And there's the way the game kind of teaches you the new abilities as you do it is through flashbacks, which are really neat. And I really like how they incorporated that. The way this game tells a story, even though it doesn't do anything that creatively new from the Star Wars point of view, it does a really good job at telling a really good and compelling Star Wars story. And the gameplay itself is another kind of mixed match of like a bunch of different things that have been really popular here in recent years, especially the kind of like parkour and traversal kind of games like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, stuff like that. There's a lot of exploring. There's a lot of different things. I've heard people even kind of reference this in kind of a way to Metroid, the Metroidvania kind of games, where as you unlock new abilities, new sections of the maps unlock for you. So there is a little bit of backtracking, but there's always a lot of fun navigating these places and exploring and finding all these little nuggets. As for the combat, like I said, with this not being, you're not Star Killer. You are not Dark Side Luke. You are not some crazy Sith god or Jedi god who's just crazy insane with the Force. Like I said, you're an untrained Padawan. This game is really about survival, and it can be challenging at times. Unlike the Dark Souls games, which this combat system really kind of takes its inspiration from, this has a difficulty choice, which you can change on the fly just in the settings menu. You've got the very basic one at the very bottom, story mode, which if you really want to just play through the story, I do recommend doing that. Though it literally, you can just roll your face on your controller or your keyboard, however you're playing the game, and probably just kill your way through the whole game. I ended up playing mostly through Jedi Master, which is the second to last difficulty. And it is challenging. You do die. You will die a lot from the wildlife, from stormtroopers of all things. It takes a little while, and that's kind of where, unlike the Dark Souls game, at least as far as those, I've only really played Sekiro, and that gameplay is much more fine-tuned because they've made so many of these types of games where this was kind of trying to go in that direction, though it's not exactly like a Soulsborne kind of game, but it does kind of lean really hard into that direction, and it doesn't necessarily do it that gracefully. There's a lot of kind of you compensating for the game when you're learning to fight certain enemies. So it does kind of hinder itself just a little bit, but it never makes it frustrating. It doesn't make it difficult. It doesn't make it like it doesn't hinder the game at all. But it's definitely just not as polished. Whereas this, if maybe they had more time with this or was using a different engine, because this is using Unreal, so there does come with some of those Unreal problems. If they had more time, maybe they could have knocked a little of those kinks out, because I do found the blocking is not always the most reliable input that it receives. So that aside, this game still is a really solid game, and I really like. There's a lot in here. The maps are really breathtaking. The visuals are all stunning. Some of the character models and animations can be a little weird at times, but overall, the game is beautiful. It plays really well, and like I said, it tells a great Star Wars story, and I really liked everything they did in this, and the ending of this is insane, and it really kind of had my heart pounding. There's some really good surprises throughout this game, because I really did avoid spoilers to this, even though, because I know a lot of people have been playing this going out since it's come out. I've avoided a lot of the reviews for this, because for games I really care about, I really want to go into it blind. And Star Wars is one of those things that I just adore and wanted to really experience this. And I came out of this really loving this game. Like I said, this is a game about survival. The core of the story is about the survival of the Jedi, the survival of this particular Jedi. And if you're going into it looking to be overblown with the Force, just slicing and dicing minions and loads of enemies all at once like you did back with the Force Unleashed, it's not that. You are not that powerful. You will die. You can die. It's about survival. It's about the fear, the terror, the strength, or not the strength, the threat of being the last of your kind in this kind of situation, this time period, and you really kind of feel that tension. But there's never not a lighthearted moment. I mean, the companion, BD-1, is such a one of the cutest droids we've seen in the Star Wars universe here in a long time, even right up there with BB-8. Talking about the sequel stuff can rub some people the wrong way, but if you're talking about droids as a whole, BD-1 is definitely up there with one of my favorites, though. Sorry, man, guys. My number one droid is always going to be HK-47 from KOTOR. I loved this game. It was a fun story. I had a fun ride throughout the entire game. If you're a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend it. This game doesn't disappoint. There's even a lot of unlockables in this, given there could have been some more variation on it. It was so fun tweaking and building and customizing the color and the hilt of my lightsaber, finding the right combination of your outfits, your accessories and stuff, just to kind of look cool, feel cool. You customize your ship. You can even customize BD-1 skins. There's just a lot you can do in this. There's a lot of fun nuggets and building of lore and expansion. And this is part of the Disney Star Wars canon. So this game, unlike previous titles where you weren't too sure where it sat as far as the canon, you can at least rest assured that this game, like the Battlefront games, are part of the official Star Wars canon as it sets right now. So I recommend checking it out. Go check out this game. I highly recommend it. And like I said, if you want to go through and watch me replay it, I even might go back and just play through it again. But all that's on my Twitch channel, and I would love to see you guys there. I do stream. I try to stream as much regularly as I can. Anytime the movie news and all that's kind of died down a little bit, if there's not like trailers or big hitting news, I really have to get out and get off my chest. I usually log on to Twitch around 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, US time. That's going to change here in the next week or so, because my work schedule is going to be definitely shifting to an earlier time. So keep an eye out for that. I'd love to see you guys there, but that's my thoughts. So I'm going to pass this off to you guys. If you've played this game, what did you think of it? If you haven't played it, why haven't you? Let's carry that conversation on down in the comments below, and we'll talk about that. If you guys like this video, make sure to support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I really appreciate you guys, everybody here on the channel, all the new subscribers, everybody participating in the comments down below. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for making this so much more fun. I mean, I love doing this, just talking about things that I love, but I love sharing in it with people that enjoy it too, or at least are passionate enough to complain about it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one, and may the Force be with you always. Take care, everybody.